Imagine it is a journey that challenges our most fundamental beliefs, and it is a secret that only a select few people are aware of the power of detachment. Doesn't it get a lot of attention? The majority of people have the misconception that love and care are synonymous with attachment. On the other hand, I am going to reveal a truth that goes against common sense today. Detachment can be the key to a life that is both more fulfilling and healthier. Does it sound far-fetched? Get ready for a revelation that will take you by surprise. But in this video, I will walk you through the less traveled paths of emotional and material detachment, revealing psychological practices and perspectives that may appear to be in conflict with one another, but are necessary for emotional well-being and personal development. Are you prepared to undergo a transformation that is both rapid and profound? Remember not to pass up this one-of-a-kind chance to learn how to break free from invisible shackles and construct emotional connections that are more robust and more beneficial to your health. Create a subscription to the Stoic Thinking channel right away. Make sure the notification bell is turned on, and leave a like. We invite you to accompany us on this journey of self-discovery and emotional purification. Together, let's get started on solving this mystery. It is paradoxical that the first step on the path of detachment is to take a step back. The goal of seeking a period of separation is not to create a void, but rather to gain clarity. Imagine that you are in the middle of a lively celebration where there is loud music and there are lively conversations all around you. When in this environment, it can be very difficult to determine whether or not a friend is whispering to you. Similar to how the noise of a party can cloud our mental clarity, our feelings can become heightened when we are overly involved with someone or something. Case in point, when we are overly involved with someone or something. When you take a step back, it is as if you are moving away from that noisy environment and into a more peaceful place, a refuge where you can hear your own thoughts and reflect more clearly. One of the most profoundly insightful philosophers of all time, Seneca, advocated for the significance of coming back to oneself. There is more to this return than just a physical distance. It also involves mental and emotional distance. When we allow ourselves to become emotionally detached, we are able to observe our feelings in the same way that one would admire clouds moving across the sky, recognizing that they are distinct entities from our core being. This concept of detachment is not the same thing as indifference. Rather, it is a method of approaching the situation and our responses in an objective manner, as if we were analyzing the entire chessboard rather than just the piece that we are currently holding. Unlike what the Stoics advocated, it is not necessary to live in a rural village and isolate oneself in this day and age. There are times when it is sufficient to simply sit in silence in a room, take a walk, or completely turn off your mobile phone for a short period of time. One of the most important things is to locate a location in which your thoughts and emotions are not suffocated by the constant noise that is associated with everyday life. It is during these times of peace and quiet that we come to realize that we have the capacity to make decisions that are not founded on fleeting emotional responses, but rather on rational reasoning, profound introspection, and innate expertise. The power tool that you have at your disposal is this step back, which is a transition to a space where you can breathe freely and see beyond the confines of the present moment. The second step in the process of detachment is to think about the necessity of setting some distance between yourself and the other person. Stoicism is a philosophy that exemplifies wisdom and virtue, and the decision to put some distance between oneself and another person is not a hasty action, but rather a methodical deliberation. Imagine that your life is a journey on the high seas, and the people you encounter along the way are analogous to the winds and currents that you encounter, it is possible that some of these will provide you with smooth sailing, while others may cause you to encounter turbulent waters. It is essential for you, as the captain of this vessel, to be able to determine which winds to favor and which storms to steer clear of through navigation. The choice you have made is not an escape, rather. It is a conscious steering of the trajectory of your life, which is in alignment with your values and your own personal well-being. Epictetus, a Stoic philosopher who rose above his position as a slave to become a wise man, emphasized the significance of selecting associations that are congruent with our individual selves. The ability to see what your relationships reflect back to you, whether it be peace, evolution and understanding, or uncertainty, discomfort and distress, is made possible when you examine your relationships as mirrors. Distancing oneself from something is not an act of renunciation, but rather a deliberate choice made for the purpose of protecting one's own morality and integrity. Stoicism does not advocate for logic that is devoid of emotion. Rather, it promotes a wisdom that encourages us to think about the ways in which people contribute to our lives, whether it be harmony or dissonance. When contemplating this choice, it is important to keep in mind the words of Epictetus: "We are not disturbed by what happens, but by our thoughts about what happens." The decision to put some distance between yourself and the person in question is not only about the person in question, but also about how you perceive the impact that they have on your life. It is possible that they are a footnote that marks a deviation from your path, or they could be an exciting chapter in your development. In the end, choosing to maintain a certain distance is an effort to create a narrative of your life that you can be proud of. To be faithful to oneself, to one's values, and to one's journey is a commitment that makes this possible. Stoicism instills in us the value of relationships that contribute to the development of our narrative and the importance of maintaining a respectful distance from those who only add value to our lives. It is not about building a life in which every person and experience is carefully chosen. Rather, it is about crafting a narrative that is resonant with genuineness and significance. This journey of detachment is broken down into 3 steps. The third of which is to have a conversation with someone you completely trust. On those occasions when life appears to be a puzzle with pieces that do not fit together, it is time to draw inspiration from the Stoic philosophy. The ability of great thinkers to persevere in the face of adversity brings to light the significance of connections, highlighting the fact that having someone you can rely on is comparable to discovering an anchor in the midst of a storm. This interaction is more than just an outpouring. It brings clarity and new perspectives to the table. If you have someone who assists you with orientation when your own sense of direction appears to be confused, it is similar to having a co-pilot on your journey through life. Seneca, who had a profound understanding of the human being, placed a high value on the wisdom that can be gained through collective experience. According to him, a friend is a mirror that reflects not only our outward appearance but also the most profound truths about us. This interaction is more than just a reflection of who we are. It is a way to comprehend the path that we have taken. When we share our thoughts and feelings with another person, we are not only sharing words with them, we are also inviting them into our inner world and providing them with a glimpse of our inner world. Through this sharing, a space of mutual understanding and support is created, one in which not only condolences but also insightful observations are transferred from one person to another. When making a decision about who to trust, it is important to give careful consideration to the individual who best exemplifies the values. This individual is very important to us, because they become a reflection of our thoughts and give us assistance in navigating our feelings and thoughts. Their job is not to find solutions to our issues in many cases. Simply listening lends a great deal of support. Because of their presence, we are reminded that we are not traveling alone on this endeavor. You might find little gems of wisdom in the words of your interlocutor if you share your thoughts with them. These are sparks of truth that shed light on different points of view. Stoicism teaches us that the challenges that we face in life can be overcome with calmness and the assistance of a community that we have chosen. Your trusted confidant is an essential component of this community, demonstrating that unification is frequently the source of strength. The act of distancing oneself from a person or circumstance does not have to be synonymous with giving up all that is human. The fact of the matter is that it is precisely these human relationships that supply the necessary fortitude and perspective to successfully navigate the intricate web of existence. You will discover genuine bridges to clarity and anchors to help you navigate the shifting seas of life when you have conversations with this trusted person that go beyond simple casual conversations. The establishment of boundaries for our feelings is the fourth step in the process of detachment, being at the helm of a ship in the midst of a storm. Where the emotional waves are strong and sometimes overwhelming is analogous to the experience of having intense feelings dominate the emotional landscape. Stoic teaching is not about successfully avoiding these waves, rather, it is about mastering the ability to navigate through them with skill and discernment. When we are able to do this, we are able to know when to let the waves carry us and when to take a firm grip on the ship's helm. Emotions are an inherent part of being human, however. If a clear boundary is not established, they have the potential to cause us to stray from our intended path. However, the skill lies in being able to experience these feelings without allowing them to completely consume us. Epictetus, who had a profound understanding of the human spirit, brings to our attention the fact that it is not the events themselves that have an effect on us, but rather how we interpret them. When it comes to delineating emotional boundaries, this understanding is essential. It is similar to having a caretaker in our minds who welcomes each visitor, our feelings, but does not permit them to take over our inner space. For instance, when we experience anger, we have the ability to recognize its presence and comprehend the rationale behind it, but we do not permit it to control our actions or emotions. In order to distinguish our feelings, we must engage in conversation with them, comprehend the function they serve, and guide them in such a way that they do not overpower our rationality. In actuality, establishing these boundaries may entail allowing oneself a period of time during which they can experience a particular feeling. This does not mean that we are denying the feelings, rather, it means that we are managing the influence that they have over us. We can say something like, "In this moment I will allow myself to feel this frustration, but afterward I will focus on solutions." A tightrope walker who is aware of the danger but continues to keep their attention on the rope is an example of someone who is able to maintain their balance. Taking this approach allows us to show respect for our feelings without taking them as hostages. We are able to feel and comprehend them, and then we are able to guide them toward a state of harmony and reasoning. This process is not about suppressing feelings, rather, it is about dealing with them in a moderate and controlled manner. When it comes to the process of detachment, the fifth and most important step is to carefully evaluate the potential consequences that could result from this separation. When we find ourselves at a fork in the road of detachment, it is imperative that we take a moment to pause and investigate the various options that are available to us. Stoic philosophy does not promote making snap judgments, rather, It places an emphasis on the importance of engaging in in-depth contemplation. Imagine that each way leads to a different future, with each turn resulting in a different sequence of events. Along the path of distancing, what are you going to find? Are we going to experience regret and a yearning for what we have left behind? Or will we experience growth, tranquility, and a more consolidated identity? This exercise in foresight is not about accurately predicting the future, rather, it is about making preparations with caution. Marcus Aurelius, an emperor who was responsible for the burden of governing a vast empire, utilized reflection on the past to guide his expectations for the future. This approach resonates with the Stoic philosophy of using one's past experiences as a compass for making decisions as they pertain to the future. Consider the instances in which you withdrew from yourself and assess the results of those actions. Were you able to gain clarity and tranquility as a result of the distancing, or did it lead to feelings of isolation and regret? Using these recollections as a map, you can better navigate the future by learning from the experiences you've had in the past. In addition, it is essential to give some thought to how the decision you make will affect other people. Stoicism teaches us to strike a balance between our individual requirements and the needs of the community. When you are detaching yourself from something, you should ask yourself whether this action will help you grow as an individual and make a positive contribution to the lives of others, or whether it could potentially cause harm or misunderstandings. This step goes beyond merely being concerned with one's own self-interest, rather. It is about bringing your individual well-being into alignment with the larger context in which we are embedded. To put it another way, it is analogous to walking carefully through a garden, making sure that your steps are beneficial to the plants rather than detrimental to their growth. When viewed from a Stoic point of view, detachment is an exercise in careful wisdom, a decision that is deliberated upon and takes into account not only the self but also the intricate web of relationships in which we are intertwined. Breaking away from social media is the sixth step in the process of detachment, and it is important to remember to take this step. Take a mental picture of your mind as a calm lake. Imagine that social networks are like raindrops that are constantly disrupting the surface that is normally calm. The tranquility of the lake is significantly disrupted by each and every update, notification, and comparison that is made. When it comes to dealing with distractions of this nature, this philosophy, which has its origins in times that predate the digital age, provides us with timeless wisdom. Seneca, when contemplating the ephemeral nature of life, might think of social media as a contemporary source of an infinite number of unneeded distractions, particularly when one is in the process of detachment. This step involves reclaiming our time and attention, as well as making a conscious decision about where to direct our valuable energy as we move forward. When it comes to social media, the most valuable asset is the attention that we give to others. By putting some distance between ourselves and them, we are not only being able to avoid a flood of digital information, but we are also making room for our minds to breathe and think. Putting the curtains up is analogous to closing them in order to muffle the noise of a busy street, where the constant clamor continues to be present, but for a brief moment, it ceases to be our focus. You discover that you are in a tranquil setting that will allow you to contemplate and comprehend the situation. Taking a break from social media is not an attempt to get away from something, rather, it is an act of self-care that allows us to recognize what helps us and what undermines us. During this pause, pay attention to the change that has occurred in your mental state. You should feel a sense of calm presence and gain a heightened awareness of your own thoughts and feelings. Stoicism is characterized by a self-awareness that allows us to recognize what aspects of our lives are under our control and to let go of those that are not. It is important to realize that although we may not be able to stop the rain from falling, we do have the ability to choose to seek shelter and enjoy the sound of the raindrops without getting wet. At times, interrupting our use of social media may feel like jumping off a speeding train. However, it is precisely in moments of silence that we are able to gain clarity. When you take a break from the digital world for a short period of time, it is important to keep Seneca's words in mind and make use of this time to engage in activities that are enriching of your spirit, such as reading, walking, keeping a journal, or engaging in hobbies that nourish your spirit. This break is an opportunity to re-establish a connection with oneself, a moment to rediscover one's essence in the midst of silence, away from the commotion that is occurring collectively. In the seventh step of the journey toward detachment, you will be given the opportunity to consciously concentrate on your most fundamental requirements. The more we move forward on this path, the more important it is that we direct our attention to the center of our being. At this point, we arrive at the core of Stoicism, which is the concentration on what is truly important for our personal development and well-being. To accomplish this, it is necessary to rid oneself of the unnecessary, the noise, and the trivial things in order to cultivate what truly nourishes the soul. Go beyond the needs of the material world and delve deeper into aspects such as the maintenance of your emotional well-being, your moral integrity, and your own personal growth. Imagine that your life is a vegetable garden. So what are the most important factors that contribute to your success? In the same way that natural light and water are essential for the growth of plants, you should determine what is essential for your own emotional and spiritual development. As someone who was born and flourished in the midst of adversity, Epicurus had a profound understanding of the significance of concentrating on what is essential. Through his teachings, we are encouraged to differentiate between what is essential and what is not as essential. According to Epicurus, true wealth is not found in having a large number of possessions, but rather in having a limited number of requirements. Incorporate this philosophy into your emotional life and think about the things that are required for you to experience a sense of fulfillment, stability, and peace. Always keep in mind that smaller is often more. In a world that is rife with options and distractions, finding contentment in simplicity and depth requires one to reflect on the things that truly bring about genuine happiness and peace. To put this into practice, it may mean setting aside some time to contemplate the things that bring you genuine joy, whether it be through solitude, meaningful conversations, the pursuit of a hobby, or other activities that have the ability to nourish your spirit. Identifying these essential needs and putting them in order of importance is similar to packing for a trip. You should only bring along the things that will enhance your experience. Having this deliberate focus makes it easier to detach from things that are not necessary, whether they are people or circumstances that are not in alignment with your fundamental requirements. Establishing a solid foundation of stability and contentment in your life takes place when you make these fundamental needs the focal point of your life. As you travel through life, this is not a one-time activity, but rather a continuously occurring process, a constant return to the things that are truly important to you. As you continue to develop and change, it is important to revisit your fundamental needs and alter and realign them as necessary. This focal point serves as your compass, directing you through the twists and turns of life with clarity and a sense of purpose. The essence of Stoicism lies in the practice of living intentionally rather than merely existing. Remember to leave a comment if you are enjoying it, as this will help increase the amount of engagement with the content that we provide. Simply stating, gratitude is the key, and mentioning the date are all that is required of you if you do not have anything else to say. Let's proceed like this. An important turning point in our journey toward detachment is represented by the 8th step, which is the celebration of gratitude and the recognition of the present moment. For the purpose of this article, we will delve deeply into the virtue of gratitude, which is a central pillar in the philosophy of Stoicism. During this stage, we take a close and appreciative look at what we have right now, identifying the blessings and valuable lessons that are concealed within each of our experiences. The act of expressing gratitude encompasses not only the act of expressing appreciation for the pleasures that life has to offer, but also the capacity to recognize and appreciate the lessons that are gained from difficult experiences. Through the cultivation of a spirit of gratitude, we are able to contemplate the world and our experiences from a completely different point of view. In the process of overcoming challenges, we are able to make progress toward our own personal development and the strengthening of our character. The paradigm shift that we are experiencing causes us to shift our focus from our shortcomings to a profound appreciation of the blessings that are within our reach. Through the consistent practice of counting blessings, whether it be meaningful encounters, the contemplation of natural beauty, or moments of serenity and deep reflection, we are able to improve our capacity to live in the present with fullness and awareness, but thereby strengthening our emotional resilience. The act of practicing gratitude is analogous to weaving a rich tapestry of experiences, in which each individual thread of gratitude contributes a different color and texture to the overall mosaic that is our existence. By taking this step, we are encouraged to celebrate life in its entirety, viewing each experience as a valuable opportunity for learning and enhancing our own personal growth. Therefore, by incorporating gratitude into our journey of detachment, we open the doors to a more profound understanding of the meaning of life, as well as a deeper connection with the moment that we are currently experiencing. It is as if we are discovering a treasure that has not yet been discovered, where the wealth is not only found in the things that we own, but also in the lessons that we have learned from having gone through our experiences. As a result, I would like to extend an invitation to you to embrace this 8th step with enthusiasm and curiosity, because it provides us with the key to a life that is richer and more meaningful. The 9th step is to encourage versatility and a willingness to adapt to new circumstances. Not only are we being challenged to accept the ephemeral nature of everything, but we are also being asked to acknowledge the unpredictability of the world that surrounds us during this crucial stage of the journey toward detachment. There is a never-ending stream of happenings in life, some of which are beyond our ability to control. The only thing that we have control over, however, is how we react and how we feel about these occurrences. In the context of this discussion, mental flexibility is not merely a passive reaction to changes, rather, it manifests itself as an active posture of adaptation. It requires us to be willing to let go of our previous ideas and attachments to particular things. Correcting punctuation and errors is included below, where it is necessary to do so. When embracing the unknown with courage, it's like navigating a turbulent river, but constantly adjusting our course as the currents take us. This doesn't mean giving up our values and principles, but finding flexible ways to apply them in different situations. The practice of flexibility also allows us to develop emotional resilience by accepting change as a natural part of life. We reduce the resistance and suffering that often come with fighting the inevitable. Instead, we learn to flow with circumstances, turning challenges into opportunities for growth. Furthermore, Flexibility empowers us to see the positive potential even in the most adverse situations. This doesn't mean ignoring suffering or denying difficulty, but finding ways to learn from these experiences and grow as individuals. Ultimately, Step 10 invites us to dance with life, to embrace its changes and twists with grace and humility. It reminds us that life is a journey of continuous discovery, and our ability to adapt and learn is what allows us to thrive amidst uncertainty. Therefore, by adopting flexibility as a fundamental principle in our pursuit of detachment, we are preparing ourselves for a richer, more meaningful, and resilient life. If you're enjoying this, don't miss out on the opportunity to purchase the ebook Now Stoicism in the 21st Century: Ancient Strategies for Modern Challenges, and unlock your prosperity, abundance, and improve your relationships with this ebook. Link in the pinned comment. 10th step: engage in empathetic and sharing behavior. In the 10th step of the path of detachment, we focus our attention on cultivating empathy and practicing sharing. Inspired by Stoic principles, we recognize the importance of deeply connecting with others and positively contributing to their lives. Empathy is the ability to understand and share the feelings of others. In this step, we learn to listen attentively, to put ourselves in the shoes of others, and to acknowledge their perspectives and emotions. This allows us to establish more meaningful connections with the people around us, creating relationships based on understanding and solidarity. Sharing, on the other hand, involves actively contributing to the well-being of others. This can be done in various ways, from offering emotional support to assisting with concrete actions. By practicing sharing, we not only enrich the lives of others, but also strengthen our own sense of purpose and fulfillment. In this step, it is crucial to remember that detachment does not mean distancing ourselves from human relationships, but transforming them into more meaningful connections. Empathy and sharing are like bridges that connect us to others in a deep and authentic way. By practicing empathy and sharing, we contribute to a more compassionate and supportive world, aligning our actions with Stoic values of virtue and kindness. This allows us to live a fulfilling life where detachment does not make us indifferent, but makes us more aware and connected human beings. 11. Give your mind and body the nutrients it needs. In the 11th step of the path of detachment, we direct our attention to taking care of our mind and body. This step is essential for maintaining emotional and physical balance as we navigate the complexities of life. We begin with the care of the mind by practicing mindfulness and self-reflection. Mindfulness involves being present in the moment, observing our thoughts and emotions without judgment. This helps us cultivate mental clarity and reduce stress. Self-reflection, on the other hand, allows us to understand our patterns of thinking and behavior, identifying areas where we can grow and improve. Furthermore, we dedicate time to nourishing the mind through reading, learning, and practicing creative skills. This allows us to expand our knowledge, stimulate our creativity, and maintain an agile and curious mind. When it comes to taking care of the body, we value the importance of healthy eating, regular exercise, and adequate rest. The body is the vehicle that allows us to experience the world, and caring for it is fundamental to a balanced life. This step reminds us that detachment is not just about freeing ourselves from worries and stress, but also about investing in our physical and mental well-being. As we nourish our mind and body, we are better prepared to face life's challenges with resilience and serenity, aligning ourselves with Stoic principles of virtue and wisdom. This step is a reminder that self-care is an essential part of the path of detachment. When we embark on the path of detachment, whether from complications, people, or situations, we encounter a wealth of deep insights and practical guidance in the lessons of Stoicism. This millennium-old philosophy encourages us to take a step back, to carefully ponder the reasons that lead us to detachment, to engage in enlightening dialogues, to establish boundaries for our emotional reactions, and to consider the consequences of our choices. As we distance ourselves from incessant external influences such as those of social media and focus on our essential needs, our actions align with Stoic principles. Stoicism, with its timeless wisdom, teaches us that detachment is not synonymous with emotional insensitivity. On the contrary, it is the path to achieving inner tranquility and resilience as we navigate intricate human relationships and life's challenges. Stoic principles shine as a beacon, offering inspiration and guidance toward a life enriched by virtue, wisdom, and emotional strength. This philosophy not only equips us to face life's vicissitudes with greater serenity, but also empowers us to cultivate deeper and more meaningful relationships, both with ourselves and with others. Thus, Stoicism proves to be a valuable guide on the path to a more conscious and balanced life. If you enjoyed this, subscribe, leave your like, and your comment. Always be grateful.